Well, here we are. 10 races in Season 8, and the final time tonight. Well, for the final time, at least in Tier 3. Let's get racing. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the final round of our FPRL Tier 3 Season 8 Championship. And this is where it gets real. Our title crowning race. We've got 6 drivers in with a chance at victory and taking it all tonight. But the one who has everything to gain tonight is Button from a qualifier. He's got a qualifying ban for missing his check-in, and he is in this mix for the title. There's his teammate David Lawface also in with a hunt for the title. But Button has everything to gain, and let's just see what qualifying has on offer, because this is going to be a classic. I'm Cruiser1872, and joining me for the final time in a historic Tier 3 campaign, you know him, we all know him, Monkey Boy Kurt.
Thank you very much, Cruiser. I can't wait for this one tonight. It's going to be another great one, as it's been all season. I've said the same thing at the start of every single race. We're going to be in for a great race, and that's just what it's been. This whole season has literally been unpredictable. 8 winners out of 9 races. Just fantastic. And yeah, I can't wait for qualifying. I can't wait for the race. Who is going to take this title? 5 drivers in this field that can still mathematically take it. However, it's probably going to be potentially out of 2 or 3, I would more think so. The favourite obviously being Radical, who is in the Red Bull all season, been very consistent. But we've also got Button, as you said, got a quali ban, which is not going to be a great start to his chances of winning the title. Also, Panic End is 18 points back, so he mathematically can win. Jay Undisputed, he's not racing tonight. So actually that takes one of the title contenders that could have won it out of the equation. And David Lowface, 25 points behind, would need to win the race and get the fastest lap. And for Radical not to score to take it. So looks like it's probably going to be one of the top 3. But yeah, let's get down to qualify. Let's see who can do their best here and can put it in a good position for the race.
Yeah, we'll worry about the numbers later. Right now it's all about the time. We've got 18 minutes to see who can get the fastest lap in around this newly revamped Yas Marina circuit from a few years ago. As you'll see there from Magic Ram, they've opened up what used to be a very finicky chicane is now a flowing hairpin, as well as, historically, Turn 5 now a hairpin as well. I know Nigel Pridle in FPRL loves that corner too, I think a little bit too much, to be honest, for Max Verstappen overtaking Lewis Hamilton there to win the title. As there's Magic Ram around the final corner, a time lap from the Ferrari to 24.6. But one thing we have seen from Magic Ram, the qualifying pace has got better as the season has went on, but he just can't get that lap in when it counts. As there's a hash duel of Wizard of Oz and Sheriff Woody. Both of them, Sheriff Woody picking up a victory this season, Wizard of Oz having a good qualifying form, and Wizard of Oz on a 23.8. Who else is on a lap? We'll scroll through. Tattoo Star just starting theirs. Destroyer in the Mercedes tonight, leaving from the Aston Martin. And I tell you what, he's going to be one to watch tonight, picking up 4th place on their debut. And if they had a better qualifying, who knows, they might have a thing or two to say and pick up another victory and a different driver. It's no doubt 9 different winners in 10 races. That is easily the most diverse victory, the most amount of drivers in a season. There we go, we'll go with that. But Destroyer around the hotel section of the track in the final 2 corners of the track, rinsing the battery down as much as he can, and that final corner on the power, challenge Oz. It does challenge it, and he beats him. A 23.7 for the Mercedes.
Yeah, he started off quite well last week. Came right back into the race in Brazil and actually finished 4th in the end. So expect to see him up there. I can already see the 2 Red Bulls are working together. FPRL Locker is going to try and give Radical all the help he can tonight to try and make that championship secure for him. Just in front of him, going down these strengths, giving him a bit of slipstream, which will hopefully help Radical get further up those qualifying times. But as they now come round to the last sections of Sector 2, they get into Sector 3, which is now. And yeah, Radical, like I say, doesn't need to win tonight. He just needs to at least get, I believe it is at least a third place. And even if their Button wins, Radical will take the title. But here we go then. Round the final corner come the Red Bull duo. Let's see what they can do. Ocker 25.4 and Radical with 25.2. So at the moment, they'll be wanting to improve on those times a bit, but it's only the first run, obviously.
That is well. As I see, Nova Suada, I say a reigning race winner from last time out. We've said that a couple of times this season. A very good drive there from Novus. Manages tires quite nicely around Interlagos to pick up their victory. Granted, they're out of the title fight, but at least they've shown what we all knew. They had a lot of pace, and finally things clicked for the Ferrari driver. As we have a look through the order, Mondo's up to third, just barely ahead of Panic End, and the Tattoo Star, again in the first exchanges, getting a decent lap time in. As the seasons went on, that Alpine has grew stronger. Might be on for a point or two tonight, as his teammate Rainbow on a 26.7. No doubt we'll be looking to go again, but we'll jump down towards Novus. The only driver currently on a flying lap. As Silverside Boy in our Twitch chat has notified me that the EAFC boosting glitch has been patched. For those who don't know, you could basically play online games with two controllers right next to yourself. So yeah, I'm expecting a shadow ban in the next like 40 hours. Don't care, I'm not going to buy the game until its release date. Anyway, Nova Suada around the final corner. It's going to be a 23.8. Puts him in second place. And Destroyer still holds on after the first exchanges.
Yep, Destroyer, very good first time there. Fantastic. Novus almost getting up to that time within a tenth of the second, but it's not quite good enough for now. It's P2 it will be, though. Not Radical, sorry. Locker did go round again and posted a slightly quicker time of a 24.8. Puts him up to P9. So he'll be back into the pits in a second. We've got one driver yet not to make a time, and that's Speedy, still in the pits. And as I say that, he's just coming out of his boxer now. So it looks like just the 2 runs for him in this session. I don't think anyone else is going to be on a quick lap here. And David Lolface already on another out lap, which is interesting. And it looks like the Tattoo Star may be going for another lap. But with that amount of battery, oh, okay. Don't know why he would be going again. But he is. He will go around again and then come into the pits. But yeah, at the moment, actually, yeah, a few people are already out for their second runs with 9 minutes left to go in this session. You muted yourself. I don't know if he's muted himself or not, but
No, my microphone's playing up.
Okay.
Well, we're back, we're fixed, we're sorted, let's go again. See, Magic Ram's improved up to 8th. Tattoo Stars are go for another run. But I'm just going to throw out an open question right now as we see the second stages of qualifying. Monkey Boy Kurt, what has been your standout moment from season 8? Just let's just go out on a good note. Pick out one moment from season 8 and good luck.
I think I'd have to go with Radical's first win, I think I would probably have to go with that. Either his first win or his overtake on Panic End on the last lap of Monza to get his back-to-back wins, either those two. Because obviously, you know, he's been in the league on and off now 3 years, and he hadn't had a win up to that point. So for him to get that, and then obviously be in the position he is now, I'd probably say that moment. But coming in quite close behind, I'd also say David Lolface taking it on the line at Azerbaijan.
I think, honestly, I'd agree with you in David Lolface winning. But if I'm to pick another moment from the season, I don't know, there's a lot to choose. There's a lot to choose from, but I think one of my favourite moments from the season would be kind of an upset victory, I think, for Rob Sue around Australia. Certainly, I think upset is the right word for it, as Wizard of Oz hits back at Destroyer on a 23.5. So safe to say the Haas has had a lot of qualifying pace this evening, and across this season as well, as I see him taking the plaudits there. You've not got pole yet, Oz, but certainly playing a few magic spells here to get himself up on top. As Mondo puts himself in the mix, as I just strolled by there to see Panic End around the final corner. Where's this going to put the McLaren in the mix? Indeed it does, puts him third. But Mondo taking the fall from tier 2. What does the Ferrari have on offer?
Everyone's starting to go quicker now. We just had Speedy go up to P4, now drop to P5. He's on a 23.7. Obviously, like you say, Panic End up to third. The times are starting to come down a little bit, and I would suspect now we're going to see even quicker times coming in. We've got, what's that there? Even Sid's gone up to 10th there. So we've got the Red Bulls. What can they do? At the moment, Radical is not on an outlap, but he's on a second outlap potentially here, because he's not on a fast one. As we've got the Tattoo Star, is it? No, Rainbow's coming round. No one's really close to the line at the moment. I think it potentially is David Lolface is the next one that will create, make a faster time. He's 3 temps up at the moment, which is only going to put him up a couple of places. So let's see what he can do through the final sector. And he's gone a bit wide there. I don't know if that's going to scupper him a little bit, depending on how his last sector went on his last flying lap. But here he comes round the final corners. What can he do? He comes across the line, bit of wheel spin at the back there, and yeah, I think he did lose a lot of time coming through sector 3, and it's not going to be any improvement there, as we've got Novus coming around to start his lap, and we've also got FPRL Locker about to come round and also set his lap as well. Is he going to improve as well? He wants to improve. He's down currently in 11th place at 24.8. Can he get any higher up? Comes to the line, and he does a little bit, 24.3, so it's P9 for now, but the 1 and 2 in the championship currently sitting 13th and obviously 15th at the back because of that quali ban.
Still plenty of time to go. 5 minutes left for them to get on the board. Radical we know can improve, but you have to find a ton of time in that final run. But as it is right now, this is a very shook up grid. We've got Mondo and Wizard of Oz in the front row, but Panic End up in third. Certainly giving himself the best chance he can to take the crown. Took the victory around Montreal, as I quickly... I need to get the standings up on my mobile phone so we know where we're at. Panic End is 18 points behind Radical, so basically it's victory or bust for Panic End. There's no alternative. As I think Novus is going to head back to the pits. Anyone else on a lap? We got Locker there. David has abandoned that lap. And I think, yep, let's get ready and set for the final runs. So we might as well go over the standings while we're at it. Radical's the only driver to break the century mark. He's on 102 points. Button is 12 points further back on 90. Then it's Panic End on 84. Jay and the Flow are not competing, so they're out of it. And David is on 77, 25 points down, so David, it is literally victory or bust for the Williams driver, who I'll admit has actually had a very strong campaign, especially from the start of the season in Bahrain, picking up that third place and that victory in Baku. It's been steady for David, and Buttons came on the scene quite late as well for the Williams team, who are actually, might as well say, but they're in their own little fight with Red Bull. And their constructor standings, 20 points in it between them currently. So for both of them, it's it's basically now or never for them. But as it stands, the highest placed driver from the top 2 is Locker, and that's 9th. So, like I say, it's a very shook up grid and might pose expect a very interesting race to unfold. 29 laps of this track. And expect a few track limit penalties. That's all I'm going to say, because they will punish you around here quite badly.
Yep, would definitely agree with that. I'm just currently on board with Magic Ram, the only driver at the moment that's on a flying lap, and he's 5 temps down. I would say start saving your battery, mate, because you're not going to be able to get in the pits and get out again. But or whether or not he takes a whole nother lap to cool the battery off, as he will have time, because it is 2 minutes 12. So he might decide to do that instead, as he almost brushes the wall. But we have now got some people also other than Magic Ram. No, Magic Ram's going to come in. So that means that he will not get out again, unless he's very, very quick in the pits. But I don't think he will now. I think that's it for him. We'll go to Radical then. Radical on his flyer.
That's no battery. He's going to have a second warm-up lap. Don't blame him. He's got a ton of traffic ahead of him. There's Sheriff Woody making his way out the pits, just waiting on Rainbow. There's Wizard of Oz, and it looks like Rainbow isn't going to go for another lap. So saving some tyres for the race. I don't blame that. Might be a late safety car, who knows? But everyone now, bar Magic Ram and Rainbow, are out on track for the final run, and the first driver to go for that final run is going to be Panic End. He's only a couple of hundredths behind Mongo. He has to get this lap on the board and maybe a few other tenths in hand. But for the first 2 sectors, it's just all about maintaining that delta and keeping it as close as you can to your best lap. It's 600ths of a second through sector 1, and then sector 2 is really just the chicane at the end of this never-ending back straight, and all the time is made up in sector 3. But foot to the floor now for Panic End. 18 points down in Radical at the start of the evening, knows what he's got to do and hope things go their way for the McLaren driver. As through the chicane he goes quite nicely, to be fair, for title contender for the evening. Now down the second back straight on this track, down the short circuit pit lane, and he's kept the delta up, and this is where the gains will be found. He's 600ths up in his time as it is. That will put him on the front row, but expect a ton of time to be found here as you get that bit more grip. The track's rubbered in, and under the hotel he goes in the one motion. A bit slidey in the exit though, might have cost him a couple of hundredths. And now the final 2 corners for the McLaren driver, rinsing that battery as low as he can, cuts the final corner as much as he can, and it's a 23-4. Panic End has took the advantage in the finale. Who can challenge him though?
Yeah, he's on pole for now. Sid Sandwich comes up to 8th place. That's a good lap from Sid. Not too bad at all. He'll be happy with that. So we've got now David Lowface coming across the line. What can he do from P12? Not a lot is the question. No improvement. The Tattooed Star is into 7th place. And Speedy goes up to 4th. Well, stays 4th, I believe. A little bit of an improvement, but not much. Next across the line, we're going to have Novus up to 4th position. And now here comes the Red Bulls. And Radical stays 13th, and Mongo takes pole position. What a lap that is there. We've got a few more coming across the line now. Here comes Destroyer, who is a 10th up. Can Destroyer take pole? He can't. It's 3rd place for him. And now the two Hasses, Sheriff Woody, come to 9th, and I think Wizard of Oz is invalidated. And he has, and that is it. Mongo takes pole, Panic in 2nd, and the other title contenders all near the back. So Panic End will be loving that qualifying.
Radical invalidate this final run, as well as I think it was Wizard of Oz who invalidated too. So that, oh man, this is the second time I've had a season finale around this track. The last time was Tier 1, and we saw a similar thing in qualifying for Object Fungus. They just couldn't get the lap in the final run, and it put them on the back foot for the race. They fought back though, but for Button and Radical, that's all they can do. But crucially for Button, David is ahead of Radical in that grid. So if you're Button, you're hoping your teammate lets you through, but also backs up that Red Bull as far as you can. But lock her up in 8th. I don't know. This is going to be a very interesting race. We've got a very mixed up grid. A couple of fresh faces, a couple of faces from the start of the campaign, but I think standout qualifying, a Tattoo Star maybe, up in 7th. It's a very good effort from him. But Mondo taking the final pole position and a final bragging rights in qualifying for tonight's Tier 3 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But Panic End, 18 points down, is in 2nd place. And if he finishes the race there, we will be tied. But Panic End will lose the title on countback. There's so much to digest for this race.
Yeah, that's the important thing that Radical has done during this season. He's won 2 races, and Panic End obviously only won the 1 race, so that is where Radical gets the advantage if Panic End does finish 2nd. So, 2nd and fastest lap, however, that's a different story. You bet comes the last few laps, if Panic End does have that fastest lap, we may see potentially even Locker coming into the pit, sacrificing his race to try and take that point back. But still a long way to go, obviously. The race has not even started yet. 29 laps, as you say, Cruiser. It's going to be very interesting, and those other title contenders at the back are definitely going to be wanting to rise through the field as quickly as possible. Obviously, Panic End, his job, get past Mongo and try and drive away into the sunset.
Well, it's a bit murky, actually, around the Jasmine in the circuit. Don't know if that's just me, though. Anyway, we'll, Yep. So, Twitch chat. What do you want to talk about? I see Trosterday and Silverside Boy have redeemed a couple of drink redemptions for us. So, I'll be on the water tonight. Need to make sure for 29 laps this evening we are ready to go. And I'm going to try and keep the nerves to a minimal, but it's always different for a title finale. It takes me back now towards season 6, the Tier 1 finale. That is probably one of the best races I've ever had to commentate on. This is without a doubt the best season I've ever had to commentate on and to share with all of you watching. So, for those of you who are tuning in and watching, and to all our new faces in the FPRL, thank you very much for finding us. Thank you very much for joining us in FPRL. And if you do want to join us, twitch.tv/FP Racing League. Nightbot will drop a link in the Twitch chat to our Discord server. Complete the sign-up steps, and we'll get you in ahead of Season 9, maybe? Who knows? If this game isn't as rubbish as it is, maybe we'll even look towards Season 10. Who knows? But Twitter, FairPlayRL under that username. Formerly Twitter, currently X, FairPlayRL. And our YouTube as well, if you're watching this on YouTube. A couple of people have joined off of our YouTube channel. So a big thank you to that as well. FP Racing League. All our profiles are under the same banner. And, yep, join our Discord server, complete the sign-up steps, and we'll get you into the league. But, I can't imagine what it's like for these drivers. It's the final round. And I can't imagine what it's like for the nerves to be kicking in. Like, all of them, for that matter, because it's the final round. You want to end the season on a good note.
Yeah, I mean, Radical will be really disappointed if he's obviously got 2 wins this season. He's led the championship for most of the time after those 2 wins. I think he's led it virtually every single round after he's had those 2 wins. So for him to potentially lose it in the last race would be awful for him, but he has got a good buffer. It's not like there's only a couple of points between drivers. Like we say, he has got 12 to Button and 18 to Panic In, so he just needs to, even if he can score just a few points, he should be okay. But no, I don't know really. I've never really been in a situation where there's been a title fight on. For me personally, anyway. I know that going back a few years now, back in season 2, I did win the Constructors' Championship for Williams that season in terms of a Drivers' Championship. Yeah, no, I've never been in that position. But for the drivers that are tonight, it's all about just, keeping your bottle, as they say.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go through a couple of bottles of water, I'll tell you that. Destroyer saying that he's enjoying enjoying his time here in the lead. Well, thank you for enjoying yourself. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But like I did say, it's a pretty murky start to the evening, quite cloudy. But Abu Dhabi, it is a twilight race, so we do start in the day, we finish at night. Or I say we start at the daytime, finish at night time. So it's actually still it is quite dark. Don't know if that's just the game being the game. But for the final time, we are underway for our formation lap, and let's have a look at our tyre roulette. Predominantly yellow, it seems. Both of the Red Bulls going for the same strategy, both of the Williams going for the same strategy, but the Williams are starting on the hards. Destroyers on the hards up in third, the Tattoo Stars on the hards in seventh. Everyone else is on mediums. So, obviously no one's trying to gamble on the soft tyres and maybe go long, but I suppose we'll see what happens. We've got 29 laps of this Yas Marina circuit to get under our belts, and for someone to raise a crown on top of their head. We've got 3 candidates, and 2 of them in the bottom 3. So I think obviously for both of them, get through the pack as fast as you can and limit the damage, because I'm thinking...
Oh, Locker and the Tattooed Star making contact. I don't know who's at fault there, but not ideal for Locker and the Tattooed Star. I mean, Locker wants to try and help out his teammate as much as possible, maybe even try and get far forward as he can and take some points off Panic End potentially, but yeah, not ideal what you want to have for the start of this race.
Yeah, just trying to imagine who's got the worst of that. Arguably, Tattoo Star maybe starting in the hards. But yeah, I don't think there's much more to say. I think we've done our job of waffling. It's now time to do the talking on track. 29 laps, upwards, I'd say maybe 40 minutes of racing, and in 40 minutes' time, we will have a champion. But I think for Panic End, if you do win, if I'm correct, all Radical will need is to get 8 points. You need to finish in 6th. So if Panic End does win, it's 6th place or higher for Radical, and he's done it. Button has to win.
Not a good start there. Panic End disqualifies himself.
Could that be the nerves getting to them? It's the first time that all 3 of these drivers have been in this position. So I think I'm getting a bit jittery and a bit antsy myself. But 29 laps of this Abu Dhabi Yas Marina circuit. We have 5 lights ahead of the drivers, and for the final time this season, we are underway in Tier 3. Mondo gets the start ahead of Panic End after that DQ, and Destroyers looking around the outside of Panic End to maintain 2nd place. That is vital for them. Rainbow's to the jump start, that is not good for them, but crucially for Radical, he has made places at the start. He went from 13th up to 10th, and he's right behind his teammate Locker as Sid Sandwich is losing a couple of places himself. But in towards turn 5, Mongo leads Panic End, Destroyer, Novus down the inside. He's got a bit twitchy there against Wizard of Oz. Last week's race winner tangling with the Haas, but both of them emerge unscathed as Mondo trying to beat the slipstream, and we're a couple of cars wide here. There's the Tattoo Star having a look on Sheriff Woody down the inside, looking to maintain 7th place that he lost at the start, braking late as there's a snap of oversteer there from Novus. Sheriff Woody goes wide to defend the place. Tattoo Star clean round the outside and is going to get the slingshot out of the corner, but both the Red Bulls looming large. Radical's in the points though, and that is vital for him.
Yeah, interesting start there. It was a little bit cars going side by side everywhere on the first corner, and I almost thought there was going to be a crash. But yeah, everyone's got through okay. Don't think anyone's got any damage, but what people like Radical have got to watch here is battles going on ahead of them. They don't want to see any flying cars come across the front of them, and that can cause them damage and ruin their chances of anything. But at the moment, Radical's up to 10th. He's got 1 point at the moment. Mongo holds the lead. Panic End 2nd. Destroyer 3rd. No change in that top 3. But it does look like Button, I know he's starting on the hards, but hasn't really made any progress at the moment. David Lolface still in front of him, and Rainbow's into the pits. I don't know if he's got some damage, but we'll now have DRS. And Panic End knows he needs to get into the lead, and he surely will now do so on this back straight as we now come to the first DRS zone of this race.
That well, and Panikin is going for it against Mondo. Mondo trying to defend, but on lap 2 of the race, there goes Panikin, and there goes Mondo. Panikin now into the lead of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and there goes Locker making the move in a Tattoo Star, as well as Radical. They've got ahead of Sheriff Woody, who looks like he's made a mistake somewhere, but Sheriff Woody is fighting back as Radical's had a collision there with the Tattoo Star. I think he's lost out the places he's gained. Is now trying to hold on against Magic Ram and Sid Sandwich and David Lawface as well. David trying to get in the mix too. Sid Sandwich now around the outside of Magic Ram in towards turn 9. Radical still in 10th, and he's limited the damage there, as there goes both the Ferrari and the RB extremely wide there. And David's there to say thank you very much, I'll take the Perry's, and is up now into 11th place, just keeps it on track. And David now to the inside for the hotel, gets ahead of Magic Ram, but just about, and no more, survives that. But as well, very quickly, this fuel spread is happening at an alarming rate. The top 6 in their own little group somewhat, but Novus is at jeopardy of losing out, but Locker 3 seconds behind Speedy in 6th.
Yeah, so what happened with Radical is he went over to hit the Tattooed Star and then just broke too late and almost hit in the back of his teammates. I had to take avoided action, which is why he lost the places that he gained. He's back up to 9th now, but yeah, that's the reason why he fell back a little bit. Panikin now is in the lead, but here comes Mongo, who's going to take the lead back. Panikin will try and keep it on the inside. There's no contact, and Mongo doesn't get the best run there out of that corner, but actually something, neither does Panikin. So we'll see now if Mongo can gain in this next DRS zone. He's going for it. I think he's going to be a bit short though on this occasion, and he is. He'll come back for another lap though, most definitely, as Sheriff Woody now gets back past Locker. As it stands at the moment then, after 3 laps, Panikin leading, Radical 9th. Panikin is the champion, but still a long way to go yet. Radical needs to really try and get a move on, as what's happening here as well, the gap between Speedy and Sheriff Woody, 3.5 seconds. You wouldn't want to have that gap really, as Locker I think lost the back end a little bit there. Radical goes into 8th now.
In a way, helping out his teammate there, Locker, making that mistake. But Radical now up to 8th as there goes Novus challenging Wizard of Oz, and Wizard of Oz going wide at turn 1. So Novus now up to 4th, Wizard of Oz now 5th, and Speedy in 6th. But I think really if you're likes of Sheriff Woody and Radical, you're hoping that the top 6 start to fight and just back each other up a little bit so you can close up 3.8 seconds now between Speedy and Sheriff Woody, and the top 6 in a class of their own breaking away from the field around them, as I see Sheriff Woody is under increasing pressure from both Red Bulls, as Panic End has lost out 2 places here. There was Mondo and Destroyer down the inside, and it's now from 1st to 3rd for Panic End, and might be even worse because he's going to have the DRS to try and hold on and defend against Novus, but Destroyer said he's had enough, I'm getting the Perry's. Destroyer now around the outside of Mondo in towards turn 9, taking a very wide line just to get a slingshot on the exit. Both of the drivers blinking, trying to harvest their battery, and Destroyer leading the way on the hard tyres.
Destroyer's had a fantastic start, like we said, on the hard tyres as well, and he's keeping up with these medium runners. He's back into the lead. This is fantastic because the medium's just going to go off quicker than the hards now. Can he start to gain a lead here? And then obviously beyond the softer tyre coming into the race, it's looking very healthy for him as Mongo there goes a bit wide. And Panikin going to try and come across now. He's not, but yeah, it looks like Destroyer's gaining time as well. 5 tenths now. Needs to just get a little bit higher. I don't think Mongo can really pose a threat as we go down to the back straight in the DRS zone. Radical now up to 7th, so he's gaining places. Now he needs to try and gain on Speedy. He's currently 4.2 seconds back.
Good luck with that, as that gap is very difficult to make up, as Panic End is really starting to struggle here for some reason. He's getting caught out by Nova Suada, who's veered to the right hand side to try and defend against Wizard of Oz and Speedy. Both are nearly locking wheels there, and Novus just holds on as there goes Speedy getting forced wide by the Haas, filtering in line and gets a 3-second penalty for doing so. But Panic End now is out of the DRS of Mondo and Destroyer, and he's now potentially easy prey for Novus and Wizard of Oz. This is Novus using his battery and is going to pound the misery for Panic End here as around the outside he goes at turn 9. Panic End fighting back to the inside, but Novus will have the momentum on the inside. He's still alongside him and is going to be ahead of him. Panic End from 1st to 4th in a lap and a half. And Panic End has got to get his head back on his shoulders. He's got to try and knuckle down because that gap is now starting to split the top two on their own, and Novus has now got the task of closing up. But on this lap, Radical has closed up a little bit to Speedy, but that might have been aided there by Speedy getting forced wide by one of the Haas's.
I think it might have well been, yes. He's obviously down now to 3.8. It was 4.2 at the start of the lap, but Radical now has got to watch out for Sheriff Woody behind him. He's right on the back of him, and he surely at this distance behind will literally take him on the back straight. Has he got a little bit of a snap there though, Sheriff Woody? Here comes Locker, going to try and make it difficult for him. So go into the left-hander. Sheriff Woody has now a slightly better run, I think, there on the exit. He's currently 5 attempts back, and will he have the speed to go past? Locker once again is going to try and make it difficult, and on this occasion, no, he's not going to have the speed to go past. And we go back up to the front, Mongo and Destroyer. Mongo probably is going to make another move for the lead here. Is the lead going to change back? Round the outside he goes. Destroyer trying to keep it nice and clean on the inside. And Mongo trying to get the traction on exit, and I think Mongo is just taken back the lead for now. Back up into first goes the Ferrari.
And that he is, but Novus is closing up a little bit. Speedy's got ahead of Wizard of Oz, but they've now lost the DRS to Panic End. So if Novus can keep up, we're back to a 4-car DRS train, and Sheriff Woody has responded against Radical. He's got back ahead of him in towards turn 9. So Sheriff Woody now 7th, Radical in 8th, as I'll get my points tallies up and counting as we are on lap 7 at Abu Dhabi. As it stands, Radical's on 106 points, Panic End is on 96 points. Radical will take the title by 10 points. As it stands, Button is yet to get in the points. So there was Mondo playing some mind games here with Destroyer down in towards turn 5, but he's not getting a DRS. Destroyer's got it back around the outside of the Ferrari, and that's now invited Novus back in range. They've got I wouldn't do these tactics on lap 7, to be honest. It's a little bit too soon to be playing some DRS mind games. But I'm not the one driving, that's why I'm 18th from tier 2, that's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's a true reflection on what your pace is, though, Cruiser. That has to be said. But yeah, Mongo, yeah, I'm not sure if he'll be playing DRS chicken at this stage of the race. But the important still thing for him is we'll go back to Radical. Radical to overtaking Sheriff Woody. Locker also overtaking or trying to overtake Sheriff Woody on the outside, but can't do it on this occasion. But these two are having a bit of back and forth now between 7th and 8th. A little sort of pack of 3 this is, with Tattoo Star now dropping back. Button's now up a couple of places as well. Button's up to 11th, but he still needs to definitely be making a move, because this is going to be nowhere near good enough for him to pose a threat to Radical at the moment. As we go back to the front, Destroyer now, almost that second is being made from him. 9 tenths is the gap. As you look behind, Novus, Panic End, Speedy and Wizard of Oz all back in a little DRS train. And yes, look at that, 1.3 seconds. Destroyer now is out of DRS.
I think Mondo might have made a mistake going around turn 3, because he's lost out at 4 tenths to Novus as well. So Destroyer is loving life right now on the hard tyres and is in the lead of the race on lap 8 of our tier 3 finale, as this Panic End look to get back at least one of the places he's lost. First up on this checklist is Novus Uaga, who's not going to make it easy for him. Panic End going to get shoved a little bit wide at the exit of the chicane. He's not going to get a DRS, and that's easy pickings here for Novus. But what about Speedy? Can he get ahead of the McLaren? Compounding it for Panic End, who wanted to get back up into 3rd. Cuts off Speedy there, who was aware to it, and is going to elect to stay in 5th for the moment. But the field spread is now present. Destroyer 1.6 seconds ahead of Mongo, who's 1.5, ahead of this quartet in a fight for 3rd. Wizard of Oz back ahead of Radical is in 6th. Radical's in 7th, 5 seconds behind Wizard of Oz. But I get the feeling here, I think Locker wants to ideally get ahead of Sheriff Woody just to try and back him up. But That man in 10th place is looming large. There's Mondo, the first one of the top 6 to enter the pits. So I think that lap was a sign of, my tyres are done, Bono, get me some new ones. I can say that line because Lewis is off to Ferrari.
I think that's too early, to be honest. Just a little bit too early, but he might be thinking he wants to get a good undercut on Destroyer as Panic In now making a move for second place. And those two are going so close together, these two. They don't want to make contact and ruin it for the Panic In's chances, but he's now through just about. Oh, and Speed, and he dives down the inside. Does Nova's fantastic on the brakes. And he gets the position back, and that is really good driving there. But these four have got to be careful that there's no collisions here. There's Panic In now, Novas and Speedy all side by side, and Wizard of Oz getting in on the action as well. We're 2 by 2 through the left-hander. And this is so tight now. This is so interesting to watch as Panic In and Novus. This is fantastic racing from these four here. But what that's doing, look at the lead that Destroyer has now got. 5.6 seconds is now his lead. That's increased by about 2 seconds just on this lap.
Granted, it is great to watch, but it's also not ideal as there's Novus just about getting a stop for the pit lane. And now he's the second one of the top 6 to make his pit stop. Obviously, Destroyer is going to go a little bit longer in this race, but that might have just cemented a victory here for Destroyer if he can just keep himself clean. For Panic In now is all about what he can do and hope things go his way later on, as he's made a mistake there at turn 3. Speedy now gets through, and Wizard of Oz now going to get through. Panic In is now going to be down in 3rd place, just holds it around the outside of the Haas. And Radical now, but even before he's made his pit stop, is now in 5th. As I see Sheriff Woody's made his pit stop, that's now unleashed the Red Bull drivers. You see him there just in the background of this fight for 3rd. Panic In holding off against Wizard of Oz. It's a slight tag there from the back of that McLaren. The Haas giving him a bit of the hurry up, but Destroyer 7 seconds ahead of Speedy. Panic In 3rd, Wizard of Oz. Then the 2 Red Bulls of Radical and Locker. Button in 7th, Tattoo Stars in 8th, holding his own. As there's Locker getting the slingshot there from his teammate to try and close up to that top, towards that fight for 2nd. But now, this is going to be an interesting one here. Radical in 6th, Buttons in 7th, Tattoo Stars in 8th, Mondo after his pit stop is in 9th, and Novus is making his pit stop is in 10th, but 6 seconds separates Mondo and Novus. And at one stage, it was like 6/10, let alone 6 seconds.
Yeah, as they all carry on, Mongo obviously came in early, so did Novus a lap later, but those 3 behind Destroyer all carry on, and I can't help but think that maybe they should have followed in that lap, but they might be trying to maybe go for a medium soft strategy potentially, or just some fresher hards to go towards the end of the race. So there's a safety car out, and I don't know who that's for.
What on?
But that is fantastic news for Panic In, because now Mongo will lose out.
That's a strange one.
It's good news for Panic In, it's good news for Radical as well, because they can now just go on hards to the end. It's not good news for Destroyer, because he's going to have to take mediums 18 laps, which is probably doable, but they will be very, very worn by the end of the stint. So I think, yeah, it's a good call there for Panic In, but like I say, it's also good for Radical as well.
Well, it can close up, but the problem is both the Red Bulls have to double stack. So, well, as it is though, Destroyer, it was looking good for them, and now this, I think, is somewhat of a road safety car. Even I still don't know what's happened to cause this, but the Mercedes, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you got to pit. If this was a few laps later, it might have really helped him. But for Speedy, obviously you're going to pit. Obviously everyone is going to come in the pits. As there's Locker just keeping underneath his Delta, into the pits he goes. And there's Radical just going to try and back up the pack a little bit as Button stays out. Obviously he's happy enough in the tyres to go a little bit longer, but 11 lap hold hards? Surely there's some madness to this thinking here for Button.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I was surprised that Locker came in. I thought he would have let Radical have the quicker stop, but I don't think he's lost out any positions, to be fair. So it did work out well, the double stack in the end. I think Sheriff Woody now will obviously jump both. No, he will jump Radical, but he won't jump Locker. Sid's now up to 10th. Radical in 11th on fresh hards. Panic End 5th, fresh hards. Mongo's obviously he still keeps 3rd, Mongo. I'm a bit surprised at that. Just goes to show you then how much of an undercut he was doing on those fresher hards, or how much the guys of Panic End, Speedy and Wizard of Oz are all battling. Panic End's on 5th with fresh hard tyres. Destroyer is going to be the guy here that will pull away initially. It just depends on, can he get enough of a lead for when later in the race those tyres are going to drop off again. Button I think he'll get eaten up, I think, to be honest. I can't see him defending from this lot behind him.
Well, it's clear Button's got to take risks to try and have a chance at this title. This safety car is going to put him in amongst the lead pack, but it's how quickly he can keep up. That's going to be the other thing, and if things can happen later on to cause another safety car, because right now this is the gamble that's going to cause 2 championships to be crowned, constructors standings and our driver standings. As it stands, Radical has enough in hand to take the title. Button is yet to pit, so even if it does end now, Button is in a little bit of trouble because he's not ran 2 sets of tyres this race, which then be the rules. But he still holds the lead for the moment, as I see Jay Undisputed, if I'm correct, in the chat, redeeming a safety car question. Fire away, Jay. Destroyer is our net leader for the moment. He's on fresh mediums, but has got a lot of work to do to get into the end. We've seen Nova Suada manage 26 laps at Interlagos last week, so it's definitely possible for tyre management. It's just managing the tyres, that's the problem. Mondo, arguably in a very strong position right now. Speedy is in 4th, but on that 3-second penalty, which could get overturned if he keeps the penalties, or at least the warnings, to a minimal. Panic End's in 5th, and we've got to keep an eye out on them. They were suffering a little bit towards the higher end lap before the safety car. Whatever, between lap 7 and lap 10 is when he was really starting to suffer with his tyres. Wizard of Oz is in 6th, Nova Suada is in 7th, Locker, Sheriff Woody, and 6 Sandwich round out the top 10. And Jay's question is, who would be quicker, Verstappen in a 2020 Ferrari or Norris in a 2014 Williams? I think Verstappen in the Ferrari, even though that Ferrari that year. Oof.
Yeah, I think I'd go... I don't know, actually. Because when were Williams were... That was the year when Bottas was getting all the podiums for Williams, wasn't it?
Oh, the 2014 Williams was a rocket ship, but the 2020 Ferrari, yeah, I think it was a bad. I think 2020 was a bad year to be an Italian. That's all I'm gonna say, especially with that Ferrari. How they survive that, I don't know. It's good to see though that Ferrari is on the ascendancy. But well, thank you for that, Jay. Appreciate that input from the chat. As the safety car is going to enter the pits. Oh look, the safety car, what's that? We've not seen that for a while. But Marlander's probably itching to get out on track. But we're going to get back underway for lap 14. 16 laps to go around Yasmin. That's what? That's an interesting take from Button. I can't imagine what that was. But regardless, we're back underway. I think Button was in a bit of 2 minds there. Did Button intend? I don't know if he intended that. I think he wanted to pit, but he overshot his marks. And he's got a 3-second penalty for his troubles.
Yeah, that's a really odd thing to see. I don't see why he would want to pit when the whole field's so close as well. Like, because obviously everyone's bunched up, so... I really don't understand that. But here comes Destroyer on the fresh tyres. They're going side by side, but there's no DRS at the moment. So there's no advantage for Destroyer, but he's better on the brakes. He gets it slowed down in time. And yeah, Button is going to be taken. It's going to be like taking sweets off a kid, this is, I think, for Mongo. He's coming through now on the outside, and he takes the position as well. And yeah, Button, he's in a bit of a dilemma because would those tyres get to the end? But now he's just getting overtaken by literally everyone. As Speedy now going around the outside of him. Doesn't quite get him on this occasion. But this is not what Panic N want. It's allowing Mongo and Destroy to get away. Panic N wants to try and get past as soon as he can as well.
That's obviously the idea for the McLaren driver. Destroyer and Mondo have broke away. Button's now starting to back up everyone. You can see such close proximity for everyone. Speedy seeing Mondo and Destroyer run away at the front, but both of them, I'll say that, both him and Button sharing a 3-second penalty. Panic N's is, I would say, a net third at the moment. Wizard of Oz in 6th, Novus, Locker, Sheriff Woody and 6th Sandwich in 10th. They've maintained stations at the start. As I see Caras is asking, who's this amateur in comms? Surely it can't mean you, Monkey Boy Kurt. Absolutely not. As 6th Sandwich is gone, and I think Radical's been caught up. In that collision with Sid.
Let's see if he's got any wing damage. I'm trying to see.
He does.
I can't see any wing damage. From Ryan Burt? I can't. See
if we can get a better camera, because we're going to stick on board with the Red Bull for the moment, who's suffering here from that chicane. As Sheriff Woody now battling with Nova Suadia, as we'll see. Actually, it looks okay. For the moment, it looks alright. But Radical, that's a scare that I don't think he wanted this evening. Oh, that's all he needs. Oh my goodness.
No. I didn't actually see what happened, but Button is literally causing a train and a half here, and everyone's trying to get past. There's a yellow flag out.
Magic Ram.
Magic Ram.
Magic Ram said a spin.
There will be no VSC or anything there, but yeah, Button is literally holding everyone up here, and you know, it's the tyres that just aren't working for him. As now Locker's going to try and go around the outside. He can't on this occasion, but he gets the switch back as he goes up into turn 2. He's got to be careful with it. And that almost contact there. There is contact between Sheriff Woody and Locker as well. And yeah, I mean, Panic N's through now, and it's his job now to try and get after Mongo and Destroyer. As Sheriff Woody makes a double move there on both Button and Locker. Button now down to 9th place. I think it probably would have been best for him come into the pits on the safety car, as now the Tatted Star is lining them up as well.
Yeah, it's bad to worse to even worse to how bad can it get, to how much worse can it get for Button. Cascading down the order. Leading at the restart is now down in 11th place, as there was David Lawface getting back ahead of Radical. Button on the fringes of the points, and David's going to try and do his bit to hold up Radical, who's going to just sit behind for the moment as David really sends it down it towards turn 9 as Button gets caught out in the curb, and it's just been made even worse. Oh, I mean, Button, he had to take the gamble, but sometimes it's a gamble in a lottery, and a lottery you can win, a gamble is a bit foolhardy. I think for Button that was a gamble.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Panic N is on a charge though. Panic N is up to 3rd. He's going to try and have to get 2nd now off Mongo, and he should do that with the DRS that he will get. On the back straight. It's understandable for Destroy to be pulling this gap with fresh mediums, but they're only going to go off towards the end of the race. A Panic N here needs to just keep his nerve, because Radical is currently in 11th, and we're over halfway now in this race. 12 laps left to go. Panic N needs now to get past Mongo and try and set off the Destroyer if he wants to have any chance of nicking this title off Radical. I don't know about you, but I can't see Radical gaining that many positions now. Everyone's on the same amount of tyres in front of him. He's really going to have to work hard to get through the pack.
As I see, Magic Ram's left the session, but the only way is up here for Radical. He's as long as Radical finishes in, I guess, a handful of points, he's got a shot. That's all I can say and add right now. But Destroyer, 3.4 seconds ahead of Panic N, who's in 2nd place. As it stands, it's still enough for Radical, who will win the title on countback. It's just enough and literally no more. Panic N, he's got to try and make up the time here to Destroyer and fend off Mongol and Speedy, albeit the Aston Martin driver is on a 3-second penalty. Novus is in 5th. Then we got the two Hasses of Wizard of Oz and Sheriff Woody. Locker, the Tattoo Star, David and Radical having their own little fight here for 9th. No, that's it, for 9th. The Tattoo Star starting with Locker, and David holding on to that final point in 10th, trying to minimise the damage and try and hope here for another safety car maybe, albeit that first one was still rolled, as there's a certain somebody in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, over Twitch chat, a good evening to Mr. George Morgan tuning in on the channel. Mr. Morgan, welcome to FPRL and our final round at Abu Dhabi. As I see Silverside Boy has chimed in with a certain quote from my Toto's partner, Monkey Boy Kurt. Yeah, lap 18 of 29, as 12 laps to go. Our championship leader, Radical, I apologise for that, my controller fell out my hands. Our championship leader, Radical, has to finish in the points, which he is doing right now, is in 10th place. Just getting ahead of David Lawface, but the driver we're following right now, Panic End, it's a victory or bust for the McLaren driver. As it stands, he will lose the title by 1 point to the Red Bull driver. Even if Radical doesn't score, count back victories go the way of Radical. Panic End, he's got to catch up to Destroyer. He's got to manage his tyres though. But let's see what the next few laps have on offer, because Radical's now right behind the Tattoo Star and is in that little train right now with his teammate in 7th place. But Panic End, he's doing his bit, and that gap I make was 3.2 seconds. It's now 2.9. With 11 laps left to go, is it game on?
I think it is game on. He just made another move on the Tattooed Star. He's up to 9th now. And Radical, he needs to try to keep gaining those positions. Panic End is now 2.8 seconds away from Destroyer. And Panic End needs that first place to potentially take this title. Radical needs to gain, because I'm pretty sure as soon as he gets past Sheriff Woody, Locker will just let him through. I just want to say as well, it's great for the league to have someone like George Morgan watching our streams. For any of you that doesn't know, he does the F1 esports coverage on Sky Sports. I don't know if he does it all the time, but definitely I've seen him on there, and motorsport commentator in other divisions and everything. So fantastic to see him in the chat watching us tonight. Appreciate the views, George. Hopefully we're going to be in for a good last 10 laps of this race, as Sheriff Woody now making a move on FPRL Locker. Now I'm wondering, is Locker going to let Radical through for an extra 2 points potentially, as Panic End not really gaining the time, 2.8 seconds. It's really not made a difference. There's still 10 laps left to go though, and how far can Destroyer take these mediums? I'm going to say, I don't think a lot more. I think, well, in terms of the performance over the hards, I think Panic End should start to catch. But will Mongo make that difficult for him by potentially also battling with him down the back straight?
Sheriff Woody making it difficult for Locker there. Just getting out of shape at the penultimate corner, and has got a 3-second penalty for his troubles, but that has allowed Radical and David and the Tattoo Star to close up. I see Button has made this pit stop, albeit a few laps too late, it seems. But Locker, as you say, those 2 extra points could be crucial, but it could be an extra 4 for Radical to get 7th place, which, to be fair, it seems like that's been his fight since the start. As Button getting the fastest lap. As it stands, though, pardon that voice break. Locker fighting with Sheriff Woody on that penalty. Radical knows he doesn't have to make the overtake, but would ideally want to, just to ensure he gets ahead of David Lawface and stays ahead of David Lawface, who's getting to be a little bit of a pest right now behind the Red Bull drivers. I apologise, David. I know you don't mean that. I didn't mean that in that way, David. I apologise. But Locker, he's going to elect just to sit back for a couple of corners more. Sheriff Woody on that penalty. So as it stands, Radical is on 4 points, which will take his tally to 106. And that will be enough, as Speedy gets another penalty. And that might put him in a little bit of trouble if there is to be a late safety car in this race.
I think that's what Radical will want now. He'll want a safety car, because he'll have 3 drivers in front of him that will all get penalties, and that'll make his life a lot easier. It might not even matter if Panic End wins the race, if that's the case. But down in P9 at the moment, it's going to be very tight. It's still not decided yet. 8 laps left to go. Panic End now's got the gap down to 2.5 seconds. Mongo is still on the back of him though, making life difficult for him, as David Lawface gets a 3-second penalty, so Radical now doesn't have to worry about him as much. But I'm going to go on board with Mongo, because I'm going to see if he's going to have the speed down this straight to have a go. And the answer is no, but we've got another DRS zone coming up. Will Mongo try and have a go as a yellow flag out? Magic Ram is off. Is this going to be a safety car? No, it's not. I thought it might have been there. He was stuck in the middle of the track, but he's got it going again. But now the gap, 1.9 seconds. Panic End is gaining, and Radical still sits in 9th. What will these penalties do? I don't know if it's going to be very, very tight here. 8 laps left to go. Panic End is gaining. As Mongo gets a 3-second penalty, that's brilliant. That's brilliant for Panic End. Panic End doesn't have to worry about him.
I think Speedy might have gave him a little love tap there, and I think Mondo might have a few stern words. And yeah, I think Mondo is going to be very upset with that. As there's Novus getting a very, very big twitch out of the final corner. That gap, though, between Destroyer and Panic End is now 1.5 seconds. That gap is closing rapidly between the Mercedes and the McLaren, as Erdo's a lapped Magic Ram making his way out the pits, trying to unlap himself here ahead of Panic End. He will get the DRS, though, to help him out. As Crossroad is saying that the medium tyres are dying now, and it's all down to Radical. As it is, though, he's going to finish in 8th, but ideally he wants to finish 7th, but you can trust Locker to let him through at the end of the race. So there was Mondo making the move here, but here comes Speedy making the move, and Panic End making his life a little bit more difficult here as the McLaren. And Panic End is going to try and hold it around the outside, get the better traction in the exit. Speedy is still there, but on those penalties. As in towards turn 9, Mondo getting somewhat of a toll, question mark, behind his teammates. Behind his teammate, getting the DRS, and Panic End just about hangs on to 3rd place. But Speedy's letting him know, for all I have penalties, I'm not going to let this be any easier for you. Panic End in 3rd. He's got to get that lead of the race, which is now 2.2 seconds away from him. And it's now, if Panic End and Mondo can catch up, can Destroyer hold on? But he's got 7 laps left to take his first victory of the season and our 9th different winner of the season. Or will it be Panic End to take his 2nd and what could be the most priceless victory of the campaign?
This is going to be all eyes now, Panic End and Radical, like it has been all race, but even more now for these last 6 laps. Panic End will be at P2 as it stands, which is 18 points. That will put him onto 102, but Radical at the moment will get 7th. That's 6 points. That puts him onto 110. So, sorry, 108. So, as it stands right now, Radical getting 7th. If Panic End was to win, he would nick the championship by 1 single point. So it's all down to Panic End here. I don't think Radical was going to gain any more places other than Sheriff Woody, because I think 6 seconds behind with the Wizard of Oz, and then a further another 2 seconds up to Novus. He won't gain any more. So it's all down to Panic End now to try and get past Destroyer. And Mongo is now up to 1.2 seconds. He doesn't have to worry about Mongo, providing he stays within 3 seconds of him. But Destroyer is the person he needs to get past to take this title. 6 laps left to go. Still will be ages for these 2 drivers, but we're getting closer to the end now.
I was going to say something there. If Magic Ram stayed behind Destroyer, he might have actually helped Mondo get DRS. But as it is, Magic Ram goes on, and that gap is now under 1 second. This is now game on between the top 4. But 2 of them are in penalties. This is now down to Panic End and Destroyer. Who has got enough willpower? Who's got enough to take the crown? Because Radical's 7th place. He's got to hope something happens here, because that might be as good as it gets here for the Red Bull driver. If he finishes 6th, though, regardless of what happens, he will win the title by 1 point. But he's got to make up 6 seconds and make up that time quickly. Or rather, put the pedal to the metal, it seems, for the Red Bull driver, as it's Panic End right behind Mondo. And this is where the games begin. Destroyer's tyres are starting to go off, and Mondo's looming large, but Panic End knows he's got to get ahead of them.
Yeah, here comes Mongo now. Going to try and take the straw on the outside. Doesn't want contact to be made. Or he just gets by. There's a bit of wheel bang in there, but now is Panic End's chance. Panic End now, surely on the next lap, is going to have Destroyer. Those tyres are absolutely gone now for Destroyer. I don't think he's going to be able to put up much of a fight, as he's already dropping back to Mongo. Mongo's tyres are also 3 laps newer, but Panikin needs to get past immediately. He does not want to drop 3 seconds to Mongo, otherwise that's going to scupper his chances of this championship. 10 races we've had, 8 different winners in the first 9 races. Could it be potentially 10, or is Panikin going to have this win and win the title with it? Surely now we'll go to lap 25, and is this the best place to go for an overtake? I'm not sure if it is. I would wait till the back straight, but now Mongo 6/10. Just wait to use that battery, Panikin. You just got to wait now, get a good run onto the back straight. Speedy 5/10 behind, you won't have to worry about him. As no Destroyer, look, using all his battery to go back past Mongo. And Panikin needs to sit tight just for now, and needs to pick the right moment to have a go. Does not want to get any penalties also, as that will definitely ruin it for him.
This might be your best chance though, as I'm going to ask you real quick to look at the penalties, or at least the warnings between Destroyer and Panikin, as Panikin is now go for it. He's taking a boost by Mondo, who gets a squeeze on the Destroyer, he's gone! Destroyer's been spun round by Mondo, and that is the golden ticket for Panikin to take the lead ahead of the Ferrari. Has Mondo just inadvertently won the title for the McLaren? That is a massive moment in this race, and it might have just sealed a driver's fate to not win this race, and a driver's fate to take the crown.
Well, Panikin is loving it. I mean, everyone behind him's on penalties. You've got Mongo on 3 and Speedy and Novus on 6. So he can afford now to drop behind these guys as long as he stays within 3 seconds of Mongo. This championship is his. Radical isn't going to gain anything. Wizard of Oz will drop 3 seconds, but Locker's 6 seconds behind him. So it's going to be Panikin's at the moment by a single point. There is 3.5 laps to go in this race. What a season it's been, what a race this has been. I never actually thought, to be fair, from 18 points back, Panikin was going to pull this off. But fair play to him if he does. He has drove really, really well this race, and he's actually come back from being about 4th, 5th, losing a few positions at the start of the race. He just now needs to keep his nerve. And I would literally say, probably, you know, if the guys behind you come at you, don't fight them too much. Just make sure you keep it within the white lines.
That's all you've got to do, but knowing what Mondo done, Panikin is going to have to be super observant here as to what the Ferrari driver is going to do. Got 3.5 laps to go. Panikin is in title contention, but my big question now, how long will Destroyer's tyres last? Can he get him that far, or could even Wizard of Oz and even Radical, can they catch up? That's going to be a massive task though, to make up that time. But the top 4 in their own little quartet. But again, I just want to ask if Panikin's got any warnings. If so, will it be 1 or 2? As I see Steele's provoking some internal thoughts, it must be said, in the chat. Hopefully it doesn't end that way. Otherwise, that'll be heartbreaking for all of us. We've got 3 laps left at Abu Dhabi. Panikin leading the way. Mondo's in 2nd. And Speedy in 3rd. But 2nd place Mondo, 3rd place Speedy, 4th place Novus. All of them sharing penalties. Destroyer is 3 seconds behind that group. As I'm going to look at the leader graphic real quick. I make that 8 seconds ahead of Radical. And Radical's title is starting to slowly fade away. But even at that, Magic Cram getting a penalty. Wizard of Oz on 3 seconds. It's not impossible. It's just very unlikely for the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, but what I'm going to say to you quickly is, as Button takes the fastest lap, I'm going to quickly say, oh, Radical! Radical!
Oh,
Radical's
no!
off! Oh, and he's lost it. He's done it. And that's going to be...
That is it.
That's going to be it. It's Panikin's title, but Panikin still has to do it. He's still got to... Oh, Novus is off behind. Panikin now then, just keep it on the track. He can actually probably afford now a 3 second penalty if he stays ahead of Mongo. But that is it done for Radical. He'll get 1 point to 103. If Panikin finishes 2nd, as he's now got 3 seconds, yeah, his head's gone. And I think he knows what has happened. I'm going to do the commentator's catchphrase. I'm going to change it a little bit though. because I know Cad has asked for it, and that is a big, oh no moment there.
That's it.
No, right.
That's it for Radical. They are gone. So now it's just if Panic-N can keep
I wouldn't
the
have
penalties
done that.
clean.
People could crash out in, there could be people that could crash out, and Panic-N could spin it off, potentially have contact with Mongo. I think I would have gone to the end potentially. Panic-N now. Yeah, it's his to lose.
Oh man, we've had everything in this final round. I think for Panic-N, it's going to be the final stand, and in a battle where 3 drivers could have fought for the crown. It's been 3 different drivers fighting for victory, but one of them is going to take that crown, and he's not led the championship once this season as Panic-N, and he's going to do what Sebastian Vettel done in 2010, not lead a championship for a single race, claim victory in Abu Dhabi, and is going to seal the title as Novus is gone!
Oh, that's what I mean. This is why you should have stayed out. There you go. Locker could have then slowed down for you. You've been back up to 8th position. Silly for Radical. Absolutely silly. Panic-N, at least stay in it until it's over. Especially when this much is on the line. The championship's on the line. Panic-N now, he can let these 2 through. As long as he keeps it on the track, he's going to be champion.
That he is. He's took only 1 victory this season around Montreal, but it was the sprint race weekend, and that's where he made his gains in the title. And he's going to take one final step in the championship. And this final step is to the top of the mountain, as through the chicane we go, Mongo looms large behind the McLaren. If Mongo gets the move done, it will not matter because of the penalties. Panic-N wants this one on track. Around Monza, he was denied by Radical right at the end. Mongo is going to go through. Radical is going to suffer. Panic-N is going to be on cloud 9 because as it is, he's in 2nd place. Just keep it on the track. And he's going to hold a crown above his head and coronated as our newest Tier 3 champion. The odds were stacked against him. He entered this event 3rd in the standings. He entered this event 18 points back from Radical, 6 points back from Button. He's now going to be the number 1 Panic-N champion of Tier 3. The McLaren does it like he done in Montreal. It's now Tier 3 conquered for Panic-N. Next up, a new adventure in Tier 2. Mondo will take 2nd place and round off a solid, confidence-boosting season for the Ferrari driver. Speedy will take 3rd and claim his first podium of the season. Wizard of Oz will take 4th. Destroyer, his tyres just fell away at the end to take 5th. Locker will take 6th. Sheriff Woody 7th. David Lawface greeting Magic Ram at the line there to take 8th. 6th Sandwich will take 9th. And the Tattoo Star takes a point in 10th. Williams as well. They were 20 points ahead of Red Bull at the start of the evening. And that is now just confirmed. Williams are our Constructors champions. Button and David Lawface winning the Constructors crown. But really, if you're Panic-N, goodness knows what emotions are running through your head. You didn't lead the championship once, but like all victories, it matters who crosses the line first. Doesn't matter how long you lead the race. The championship is won on the final round by Panic-N.
Well, what a way to end the season. Obviously, me and you, Cruiser, we've watched it all, and we can definitely say I think this has been the best, personally, the best season tier of FPRL I've ever had the privilege to watch. We've been going 8 seasons now, and that's got to be the best one for me out of all 8 seasons. It's been so good. The amount of different winners we've had, it comes down to literally the last few laps to decide the champion. And he comes back from 18 points behind going into the final round. Yeah, what an end. I just want to say once again, it's really nice to see. Don't want to make it obviously the stream all about himself, but it's so nice to see George Morgan watching us to have someone of that caliber of commentator in. So we appreciate you watching and giving us the comments you have in the chat today, George. But Yeah, well done. Brilliant to Panic End. Fantastic. We'll get him into the chat. We'll get him into the party, see what he's got to say. We'll hopefully get Mongo in. I would say on another day we'd get Radical in, but I've got a feeling he's not going to want to talk at the moment.
No, I think Radical's... I think it's best we leave Radical to deal with the emotions himself. But Panic End, goodness me, you couldn't have scripted this. Much like Tier 3, you couldn't have scripted a single race. And for only the second time this season, we don't have a duplicate winner. Panic End picks up his second win of the season, and quite possibly the most priceless victory of his 2 victories in FPRL. That will do for Panic End. As... that'll do. That will do, I need to lie down. But before that, we'll head off to the showroom. And I'll see if I can get a word from Speedy through our Discord server. But we'll just wait for him. You know, I'm just thinking there, Mongo. He's finished in the podium twice and he's went off console immediately after the race. So, maybe it's third time lucky for the Ferrari driver. If not, we will try and get a word from Speedy, and then we'll get a word in from our champion. Because I need to try and find him first in Discord, which is not going to be easy. There we go, there it is.
I don't know if we're going to get Mongo in. I'm not sure if he does interviews normally, but if we don't, I'll tell you what, we'll get David in, just as they've won the constructors. So we'll see if he wants to join, just as a little word with him as constructors champions. We'll see if he wants to as well. But yep. Yeah, whenever you're ready, Cruiser.
Indeed. Well, we'll jump off of the Aston, get a quick glimpse at the Ferrari, admire its beauty, and then cometh the man, cometh the hour. 2 victories in your entire career. This is easily the biggest victory, I think, quite possibly, of your whole career. Panic End, first off, on behalf of everyone in the league, a huge congratulations to you. Just run us through your emotions in the closing stages.
I didn't even know I won the championship, to be honest, so I didn't look into the points too much before the race, so I didn't know what I have to do, but I saw at the end Radical I don't know what happened to him, but he left the session. And then I thought, now is my chance. I have to be at the top. And now it's just great way to end the season, and I'm very happy.
I'd imagine so. But I suppose now, as being the champion, and there's a new adventure in the horizon, and I think if I'm correct, you return to Tier 2. So, as a champion, I think you carry a extra bit of expectation next season, but I think for the moment, and at least for right now, it's just all about just soaking it in, because, yeah, just absolutely incredible. All the odds against you, and you somehow pulled it off.
Yeah, I did everything I could today. I think I deserve to win today, and yeah, I don't know what to say.
I think that's explainable, but I would say, following on, what's your hopes for the next race? But I think that's us for Season 8 and Tier 3. So, I think pardoning tonight's victory, what would you say has been your standout drive of the season?
I have to think. I think today was my best race, to be honest, but except for that, maybe another win, or yeah, I don't know. Baku was also good. I didn't like my performance in Brazil, but it's hard to tell which one was my the best part of the season. I can't tell right now.
Oh, and just one more really quickly. Sid Sandwich has redeemed a drink redemption in the chat, saying some drinks for the interviews. I think it's going to be a 7-day bender for Panic End. But again, congratulations. And Monkey Boy Chirp, anything else to say to our newest winner?
Well, obviously, first of all, congratulations, Panic End. I mean, I have to be honest, 18 points back. I didn't really think that you were going to come up and take that advantage off Radical, but you have done. So all credit to you. Drove a brilliant race. You looked very strong on the hard tyres in the second stint. The mediums still looked good, but you definitely looked the fastest man out there on the hard. So fair play to you. Well done. And yeah, it's been you've had great all season. Obviously, 2 wins in feature races along with Radical, so you can be pleased about that. But yeah, nothing else to add from me. Just a big congratulations.
Thanks.
And we go from one champion to another. We head to the Williams camp because it looks as though a certain David Lawface has joined the commentary box and for a quick interview too, as I see some Speedy's in the chat and is going to hopefully put a quick word in off of their race. So while Speedy does that, David, if I'm correct, this is your second constructor standings in FPRL. So first off to you, and I'll pass on to Button as well. Congratulations to the Perrys, and I think a little bit more to you, David, because at the start of the season, I don't think you had much expectations.
Yeah, thanks. It's obviously it's been a short season, but it's been a really long season. It seems like ages ago. We had the first race in Bahrain, and for me it was a good one. I picked up a podium. I thought actually I'm looking quite good. But yeah, it's been a bit all over the place since then. But yeah, it's just I can't state enough how fantastic it's been racing with Button. He's I'm sure you guys know he's a friend, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun and really good teamwork. I'm really glad that we've in the end managed to pip I believe Red Bull, and yeah, I do feel bad for him. I do feel bad for Radical, genuinely, but he's showed some real pace this season, as have a lot of the guys, and yeah, obviously Panic End absolutely having a stormer, and yeah, picking up plenty of points pretty much every week, and yeah, it's been a really good championship, to be fair, as you said earlier, Monkey.
I think Monkey's just trying to think of what to say right now, but I see Destroyers saying, will sign-ups be open for next season? Yep, sign-ups are open. So twitch.tv/FP Racing Lead, all of our races are streamed, and you'll find a Discord server using the link from Nightbot in the Twitch chat, as the Doggles joined me. Hello, Doggy. As Nightbot will drop a link in the Twitch chat to our Discord server, our recruitment server, complete the sign-up steps, and just maybe you might get yourself a full-time drive next season as Destroyer. It looks like you might have a decent chance to get in, because all of our reserve drivers, as long as you keep competing, keep signing up, you'll have a better chance at getting a full-time drive. And through our other social media, our YouTube channel, FP Racing Lead, all of our races from Twitch are ported to our YouTube channel to relive and rewatch all of the action from Season 8. And our X account, formerly Twitter, FairPlayRL, you'll find us there, posting.
So we have an
updates,
Insta.
Yeah, I'd rather not comment on the Instagram because, to quote another certain,
Anyway, moving on.
To quote another certain Super GT, it got sent to the Shadow Realm. As Steel saying, if you got a link to this racing league you're talking about, you're here, and David has acknowledged that, Steel. But Monkey Boy Kurt, any final words before we round off the stream?
Well, first of all, to David, congratulations, obviously. Constructors, I know what it's like to win the constructors with Williams. So now you do as well. So well done to you, mate. But no, other than that, I think it's just a big thank you to all the drivers and everyone that's watched Tier 3 this season. It's been, I'll say it again, one of the best tiers, one of the best seasons I've personally watched. And I can't say much more than that. It has really been exciting. Every race has been so tight. The qualifying's always been really close. You're not sure who's going to get pole position. Because we've had a couple of seasons in FPRL where we've had one or two drivers that have gone away with it, and in some aspects it's made the championship a little bit boring. But this has really been fantastic watch, and hopefully all the drivers that took part this season enjoyed themselves, and hopefully they'll be all back for season 9. So yeah, just want to say, other than that, okay, thank you for tuning in. Really.
Yes. We don't normally do goodbyes. It's we'll see you in a little bit. But Dodo, yeah. For those who don't know, that was the Dodo yawning. You might have just picked that up there on the microphone, but I think the Dodo's wanting to go to bed. Same as me. I'm absolutely shattered. 10 races down, and 0 races to follow. But we do have a couple more races this season on FP Racing League. Wednesday nights, our Tier 2 drivers will take to the track for a final time before we round off our championship campaign in style with our Tier 1 race. All of our races at 8 PM UK time for our Tier 2 and Tier 1 race. And yeah, that's going to be us from the Tier 3 paddock. So that has been Monkey Boy Kurt.
Yeah, thank you very much everyone for tuning in as always.
And this has been Cruiser 1872. And like I say, it's not a goodbye. It's we'll see you in a bit for some more Tier 3. And from all of us here at FPRL, good night.